I'm Demaya. I am the founder and editor-in-chief at The Zill. I also am a creative producer and all around just lover of the arts and all things storytelling and creativity and just an overall lover girl. I wanted to discuss some of the challenges I've been faced with as a creative, as an entrepreneur, as a Black woman, as a Black queer woman, as a woman, and just all of the things that the intersectional identities that I am embodying, and what challenges I have faced because of that in my industry. Some of these things I myself am still dealing with and still finding solutions, but the main thing is that I am constantly finding solutions, and so I want to share that with you all from my experience, what I'm learning, things I plan to execute, things I've already done. So let's talk about it. Let's get into it. Limited resources. As someone who has self-funded majority all of her business up to this point, I know all too well the challenges and the burdens that is finances and finding the capital, finding the connections in order to make your vision come to life. First, you need to know and understand that if you have a vision on your heart, if you can feel it, if you can see it, it's because you are meant to execute it. God has put that on your heart to do. And if God has put it on your heart, don't you think He's going to provide all the resources you need in order to create and execute? And that is something that I have had to tell myself. Everything that I need in order to manifest and build the life that I want, I already have. We are natural born creators. We were born to produce. We were born to create. And so remembering that it is in me, it's not on me. We've heard it before. It has been a very solid point to help me to shift my mindset that I can access and create anything I need to. And no one or anything can stand in between that. Yes, there are limitations. Yes, it's very hard for women, for Black women in particular, to get access to capital. But here's some solutions. Of course, you can crowdfund. Crowdfunding is a great way to get the community around what you're doing. It's a great marketing tool too, because at that point you can begin to share your vision, create a community, and allow others to be a part of the vision. They feel like they're investing and buying into something. You're building for others, and crowdfunding can just be a great way to get the capital you need, build a community. You're just hitting on so many different components that ultimately you're going to need for your business. The barter system. Okay, I cannot stress enough, and I know it sounds crazy, but consider and sit down with yourself like, okay, if I had XYZ amount of money, where would it go first? What are some of the initial things that I need to execute? And see who your resources are. Sometimes you can be working with your friends. You can be working with peers, your network. If you went to school, if you have people in your network who have similar mindsets and could benefit from a skill of yours. Really beginning to have that mutual beneficial transaction will help you. Maybe you can get discounted rate, maybe you can get it for the free, but as long as it's mutually beneficial, it's important to be cross-collaborating with your friends and peers. So barter system is a great way to get started, and consider some of the main things that you need to get done. Grants. So we know as business owners, we need to be applying to grants, and that is really the brunt of the work. That is some of the grassroots work that we really don't like doing because it takes time. You have to write letters, you have to send them out, you have to find grants. I know it's one of those tasks that we don't like doing because it takes a lot of time. It is very meticulous work. And then also it's emotionally exhausting being rejected or not hearing anything back. But it is a very important part to being a business owner. Rely on AI, use a friend who is skilled in those areas. Again, the barter system to help you get that done. One that I know that I've applied to is Amber Grant. I've known people who have actually won Amber Grant. That's how I found out about it. So these things are accessible, and we just have to look for them, and we have to be diligent in doing so. So grants are a really great way to get the initial funding that you need to start your business. For me, I have applied to grants. I've tried crowdfunding through Patreon. I've done all the things and continue to do the thing. But I am self-funded. And so having another source of income to fund my business is one way that I've done it. A lot of people don't like doing that, or, we shouldn't have to do it, but it is an option. And again, for me, it's about finding solutions that aren't going to keep me stuck. As long as I'm moving and finding that momentum, then the other resources are going to come. But you have to begin to work with what you have. When I am employed, when I am working, I do use the funds that I have in order to fund my business through careful, meticulous planning and budgeting for my personal life and my business. So that takes time, and it takes a lot of planning, but it's something that I'm okay to do if it's going to get me closer to what it is I'm trying to achieve. Creator's block. That's a big one. That's a big one because it is not spoken about enough in the degree that it keeps a lot of us stuck. You don't know what to create, so you just don't. There's people who know what they want and they don't, but some people want to create. I just don't know what to create. I'm all out of ideas. And we have to understand first and foremost that we are abundant. We are abundant. And yes, you do go through seasons where maybe you're not as inspired, but what I like to do is get off of social media and get present with myself. Social media is an incredible tool. We all know that. But if we're consuming the same thing everyone else is consuming, you are going to get into a mundane space of creativity. Everything starts to look the same, and it does become uninspiring, and I think you have to have a healthy relationship with social media. What I tend to do is I will take intervals without social media and replace it with something that gets you more present. Reading books, listening to music that you don't listen to, going to museums, finding a hobby or an activity that you've never tried before, going on solo dates, and doing this consistently in replacement of social media. Also, just start. If you are a photographer, if you are a creator, if you're a writer, just do it. Just start. And it will begin to come to you. I think the key is to just do it. And that energy is going to meet you where you are. But creator's block is real, but I also think it is something of the mind. It is something of the mind that you have to just move through. So get outside, okay? Get outside. That's the lesson for today. Touch grass. Imposter syndrome is something that a lot of people deal with, but especially when you are underrepresented. If you don't see yourself in spaces and high places, if you don't see someone that looks like you or identifies similarly to you, then it's going to be difficult to feel like you can do it too. Like, who am I? But if it's on your heart, you can do it. There's a reason why you can and you will. Imposter syndrome is really an illusion. It's not real. We have to begin to shift our mind into believing in ourselves. Start to check the self-talk. A great way to do that is start getting out of your comfort zone. When you're presented with a problem or you're presented with an opportunity, you need to arise to the occasion. And that starts with telling yourself you can. Begin to counter the thoughts that are keeping you from thinking of yourself as the person that you know you're called to be. If this is who you are, it's who you are. It's going to work out. There are those mindset shifts that we have to make in order to realize our vision. And it's all about how you see yourself. So while imposter syndrome tends to be something we all deal with at some point, because of that underrepresentation, it 100% cannot be the thing that keeps you from your goal. What would you tell your best friend if they came to you, oh, I can't do this, I don't know if I'm able to, I don't know if I have it? Tell yourself the thing you would tell your best friend, someone that you really care about, because you deserve that same care and gentleness. I believe the more you get into the habit and practice of it, you begin to build that self-esteem and that confidence. And imposter syndrome, it doesn't just poof, go away. You just learn how to manage it, and it doesn't become such a monster that you can't deal with it and that you become stagnant. It helps you to continue to move. The goal is always to flow. Gatekeeping. Gatekeeping is another challenge that we tend to deal with. Connecting back to imposter syndrome, when you don't see yourself in spaces, it's very much intentional for the most part. I do my best not to focus on that, but gatekeeping is real. And I've been in the corporate setting, I've been in all different types of spaces in the creative industry, and I have not seen myself too often in higher places in the corporate spaces and in some of the industries that we aspire to work in, right? And so with that said, gatekeeping is real, but there is no time like the present for us to begin to build our own. Build your own seat at the table. Build your own table. We cannot wait for people to give us opportunities. We really do have to begin to build or join someone who is okay with building, because not everyone is entrepreneurs. But do your part. And if it is working in corporate and going up the ladder and pulling up others who look like you, do your part. Whatever that looks like in your respective space, it's all about knowing who you are, what you're supposed to be doing in this time and space of reality, and get it done. Do the work it takes to work on your mental, your spiritual, your emotional health, so that you can show up as that best version of yourself, and you can pull and lift people up with you and give others opportunity within your community. I think oftentimes people who are marginalized often feel the pressure to solve the world's problems, and I think if you can just focus on the thing that you are meant to do, that is more than enough. My goal with the Zeal is to uplift the overlooked, the underrepresented, those who face several different challenges on all turns. And I want to do that while doing the thing that I love. And so that's going to look different for everyone. But all I can do is show up and do what I know is on my heart and be my most authentic self in the process. And in doing so, I'm confident that this journey will all be worth it. It will all come together in the way that it should. Meanwhile, though, I'm enjoying the process. I'm Demaya. Thank you for watching if you made it through. I am, again, a creative producer, editor. I am trying to show up and embark on this new chapter in my life. I would really appreciate if you support, hit subscribe, like the video, leave me some feedback, comment, say hi, say what's up. I'm so glad you're here, and let's evolve together. Let's grow together. We need each other. Love you.